Welcome to Adding Dollars. In this video, I'll be going over how much you could have made if you use the wheel strategy on Snap stock, and I'll be testing this over a 2-year period and showing you the backtest results. Before I jump into it, if you're new to the wheel strategy or covered calls and cash secured puts, then make sure to pause the video and check out the videos in the description. Just a quick recap on the wheel strategy that I'm backtesting. I'll be selling weekly options expiring every Friday and only trading one contract at a time. If you want more details on the wheel strategy or the specific backtest parameters, then check out the video in the description. I've gone ahead and completed the backtest on Snap stock, and here are the results. I've written some code using the Quant Connect platform to backtest the strategy, and this screen shows the results. This backtest is from January 5th, 2022 up to January 5th, 2024. The main numbers to focus on here are the equity and the return percentage. The equity in this case is how much money you would have if you closed out all of your open positions and all of the profit and loss you would have collected throughout the 2 years. And this would be the final value. So in this case, we started out with $6,000 in equity, and we are ending the time period with $6,075 or a $75 profit, which would be about a 1.25% return in approximately 2 years. This doesn't seem like a really high percentage return over a 2-year period, and that is most likely because of how Snap stock has moved over the last 2 years. I will also compare this to the buy and hold strategy later in the video, so make sure to stick around for that. Before we jump to that, one other thing I always like to look at is the max drawdown. So this is the maximum amount that your equity or total equity amount would have been drawn down during this time period. In this case, it looks to be about negative 18% is the max drawdown that you would have had during this time period. Now let's go ahead and jump to the Snap stock so that we can see how much you would have made if you did use the buy and hold strategy. So looking at about a similar time period, January 7th all the way up to January 5th of 2024, we can see that Snap is actually down about negative 60%. So the wheel strategy actually outperformed the buy and hold strategy on Snap in this case, because the wheel strategy had a return of 1.25%, whereas the buy and hold strategy would have been down 60% over this time period. And this is most likely because Snap had a huge decline. The wheel strategy kind of mitigates some of the loss here because you're constantly selling cash secured puts further away most likely, whereas the buy and hold strategy moves just as the stock moves. So in this case, the stock is down 60%, and your buy and hold strategy would be down 60%. I also always like to compare this against the S&P 500. So here we have the S&P 500, and again, I'm going to look at a similar time period. So from about January 7th to January 5th, 2024, the S&P 500 seems to be up about 0.4%, whereas the wheel strategy on Snap produced a 1.25% return. Pretty much similar returns here. It's a very small difference over a 2-year period. And the max drawdown on the S&P 500 during this time period was negative 22%, which is actually larger than the max drawdown that we saw on Snap stock during the same time period. As always, the wheel strategy performs best in a sideways market, whereas for Snap stock during this time period, it definitely wasn't a sideways market until reaching about August 5th, 2022. Additionally, the backtest has fixed parameters of where to sell the put and call options and expirations, whereas if you are really trading the wheel strategy yourself, you may be able to make certain tweaks on where you want to sell the options depending on other various market conditions, like various macroeconomic conditions or various support and resistance levels. If you enjoyed this analysis and want to see a similar analysis on another stock or over a different time period, feel free to leave any questions or comments down below. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.